Hey guys, this is Miss Mo. This is your final exam review for Math 300 Elementary Algebra. Okay, let's see here. First, this test review is very long. It's like 60 questions, but your actual test is only around 30 questions, and they should be 3 points each. Okay, so let's see here. Number 1, it says write the number in words. Okay, well, we know that this 327, we know that's 327. So all of these answer choices have the 327. Then we see that there's a 800, and that 800 lands in the thousand spot. So that 800, it lands in the thousand spot. So we need to have something that says 800,000. So D is missing the word 100 in between the 8 and the 1,000. So D's out. C does not say anything about 800, then 1,000, so C's out. B, again, it's missing the 800, but it has the 1,000. So this 800, it lands in the 1,000 spot, so we're supposed to have 800,000. Okay, and then this very first 8, it lands in the million spot, so we're supposed to have the word 8 million. So A, yes. Okay, number 2, we're supposed to go backwards. Well, it says 32,905. So the 905, that part's easy. 905. Okay, but then the 32,000, we know 32 looks like 32. But it has to land in the thousand spot. So let's go ahead and say 905. And then this 32 has to land in the thousand spot. Well, the thousand spot is right here. So I can't say 32 and then a 0. That's not what I need. I need that 2 to land in the thousand spot. So the 2 needs to land in the thousand spot. So there it is. And then let's slap the 3 in front to make 32. So hey, B. All right, let's look at number 3. It says use the map to find the shortest route between Elkhart and Bonn. Okay, shortest route means the smallest. Okay, well, let's find where Urquhart and Bonn are. Here's Elkhart and here's Bonn. Okay, so to get from Elkhart to Bonn, we could go up to Carson and then swing over. That would be whatever, 56, because that's the swing over, plus this 76's. And now that we're on our final exam, we can use a regular old calculator. Hallelujah. And that gives you 128. Okay, let's try another route. I could go from Urquhart to Fremont all the way up to Bonn. So Urquhart from Fremont would be 39 plus this little squiggle up here, 97. And that gives me 136. And so far we don't have the smallest yet. Or we don't know if we have the smallest. Now let's check maybe Urquhart to Fremont, up to Alton, up to Bonn. So Elkhart here is 39, to here is 49, and then the last piece is 47. And let's see what makes that up. get 135. So it's looking like, oh, did I add this wrong? 50, I added this wrong. This is supposed to be 56 plus 76. Oh, I wrote down the wrong thing. Dagnabbit. Okay. So then 56 plus 76 is 132. Okay. And now, out of all of these, the smallest one, it's that one that I messed up, the 132. So D. So even though we had to find the smallest one, we had to add up the pathways to get to that smallest one. Okay, let's look at number 4. It says find the perimeter. Perimeter means add the outsides. Okay, well, it says a gardener wants to put a fence around a garden with side lengths of 83, 76, 89, and 29. How much fencing must he buy? Okay, so whatever. We have a garden. And he wants to put up a fence of 83 meters long, another one of 76 meters long, another one of 89 meters long, and then maybe 29 meters long. It's kind of a weird shape. Okay, so we are going to add all the outsides that will make up the fence. And they all add to 277. So C. So on that one, what you need to remember is perimeter means add the outsides. Okay, number 5 says solve the problem. Sonia is driving 971 miles to get home from college. If she drives 337 miles the first day, how many miles remain? How many miles remain mean subtract something. The big minus the small number. So our big number is she has to drive 971 miles. But she's already driven 337. So let's subtract the 337. And that will give us how many miles left over, or how many remains. So 634, B. So what you need to remember on that one is that how many miles remain means subtract. Okay, number 6. It says work the chain multiplication. If you put that in the calculator, you'll get 0, because 0 times anything gives you 0. So you can literally just throw that in the calculator. 0 times 9 times 3. Yep, it's still 0. So on that one, we just put it in the calc. Okay, number 7. It says how many months are there in 40 years? Well, let's see here. What about 1 year? How many months are in there? 12 months. Okay. Well, let's see here. If I want 40 years, then I'm going to multiply it by 12, because if 1 year is 12 months, 2 years is another 12 months, 3 years is another 12 months. And instead of saying and another and another and another, we're just going to multiply 40 times 12. And that should give you 480. So on that one, you had to remember that there are 12 months in a year, and then you multiply. Okay, number 8. It says the list price of a car is $19,000. The manufacturer offers a rebate. What is the final price of the car? Okay, so to get the final price of the car, we're going to take the list price, then minus the rebate. So this means when I go to pay for the car At first, it's $19,683. But there's a rebate. That means you get that money back. You have to fill out some paperwork. It's kind of like a discount. So we get to subtract $834. And whatever that is our final price. Okay, so we get $18,849. And what you're going to have to remember on this problem is that rebate means you take the list price and you subtract the rebate. Okay, number 19, it says, write down all the different ways this could be shown. Well, 20 divided by 4. That means 20 divide sign 4, as in a fraction bar. So A's out, B's out. Okay. Or if we're doing an old school division house, it says 20 is in the house and it's being divided by 4 on the outside. So A is out, B's out. Let's see. The only thing that somewhat matches is D. C is wrong because it has a bunch of minuses in it, and that's not how you divide. Okay, let's look at number 9. It says divide using long division. Okay, well, I know you can probably just put it in your calculator. And it gives you 554. So A is out. It looks like I have a remainder of 0.75. So D's out. So it's either B or C. But if you notice, this 0.75 is not 505 or 534. That means we actually have to do the math. Oh no. Okay. But we already know the front part, so it's going to be easy. Okay. It says 712 goes into this number 554 times. So let's see here. 712 does not go into 3 or 9 or 5, or 4, but it should go into 7949 5 times. Let's see, 712 times 5 is 3560. Then we subtract down, and we get 389. Bring down your next number, 0. Okay, 712 can go into this the same amount of times, 5. So 5 times 712 is 3560. Subtract down and we get 3302. And then 712 cannot go into 3302 5 times. Let's see if maybe 4 times. Yep, 4 times to get 2848. And then we subtract down, and this should be where the remainder comes in, 454. So, oops. Did I subtract wrong? I think I subtracted wrong. 1 second. Minus 3560. 389. Minus 356. 33. I brought down the wrong thing. I was supposed to bring down an 8. That's supposed to be an 8. You get 338. Then you bring down the 2. And then 712 goes into that 4 times. Subtract down. Ooh, 534. There it is. Ooh. Okay, so our remainder is this 534C. Okay, and I knew I did something wrong because when I divide 394 by 712, I know I'm supposed to get 554. So that means A's out, D's out because we have a remainder. Okay, then from there, I knew I was wrong once I got to this point because I kept getting 454 and the remainder is supposed to be one of these. So I got to use the calculator to check myself, but really I just wrote down a number wrong. Okay, let's go to number 11. It says Erica's car used 26 gallons of gasoline. Oh, Akira's car used 26 gallons of gasoline when he drove 728 miles. How many miles per gallon did it go? Okay, well, let's see. For 26 gallons, we drove 728 miles. Okay, it's asking how many miles per gallon. So that means if we just had 1 gallon, how many miles would we drive? Well, it's kind of backwards of what we did earlier on number 7 with the years. Instead of multiplying, we're going to actually divide. So it's saying, how many times can 26 go into 728? So we're going to take that 728 and we're going to divide it by 26. And that'll give us how many miles for just 1 gallon. And we get 28. So when it says how many miles per gallon, that's when we need to divide. Okay, number 12, it says round as they tell us, and it says to the nearest 1,000. Well, the 1,000 spot, first let's find it. The 1,000 spot is right here, 1. And I need to round it to the nearest 1,000. So that means I'm either going to write down like 11,000 or 12,000 or 13,000. That's what round to the nearest 1,000 means. Okay, so if I look to the right, I see a 2, and that's 4 or less, so we're going to let it rest at 1,000. D. Okay, number 13. Exponent and the base. The base is the big number, 9. The exponent is the number in the air, 2. So the only thing that matches that is A. Let's look at 14. Find the square root. That means what is the same number multiplied with the same number to give you 16. So we're looking for what 2 of the same numbers give you 16. Well, the answer choice A says 5 times 5. That's not 16. Answer choice B says 4 times 4. And yeah, that's 16. So the answer is B. Okay, let's keep going. Number 15. It says use the order of operations. Well, that's PEMDAS. Okay, well, let's identify what we got going on here. I see a multiply dot, so that means multiply. I see another multiply dot. And then I also see some addition signs. Okay, well, let's see here. What comes first in PEMDAS? A or M? And it's the M. So we need to do the multiply business first. So 4 multiply 7 is 28. Plus sign, 4 multiply 7 is another 28. Plus sign, 5. Okay, now that we're done with the M, let's move on to the A, where we add these up. So 28, 28, and 5, you just add them all up and you get D. Alright, let's look at number 16. It says simplify the expression by using the order of operations. Okay. We're still going to do PEMDAS. I definitely see M for multiply dot. I definitely see S for subtraction. And then you might be asking, what is that square root? The square root is actually the E. Kind of like an exponent is in the air on top of the 49. This house is in the air on top of the 49. Okay, so first we have to do P, E. That's our first job. So let's fix these exponents. And when I say exponents, I mean the house. So we're going to have 18 times whatever the square root of 49 is. So what two of the same numbers multiply to 49? And it should be 7. Then we have minus sign, a 10, multiply dot. Let's do this square root. What's the square root of 81? The same two numbers that multiply together should give you 81. And the same two numbers are 9. Okay, so we took care of the E. Now it's time for the M of PEMDAS. So 18 times 7, 126. 10 times 9, 90. And then now we finally get to do the S from subtraction. And we get 36. Boom. Yes. Okay, the part that you're going to forget on that problem is the whole exponent thing needs to be done first. As in the square root hoopla needs to be done first. Okay, let's look at 17. It says, for selected countries, this pictograph shows approximately how many kilograms of seafood is consumed by each person per capita annually. Which country consumes the least? Okay, what does the word least mean? The biggest or the smallest? It means the smallest. Okay, well, let's see. Country A consumed this many fishes, this many, this many, this many. So which country consumed the smallest amount of fishes? B. Country B, which is answer choice D. Alright, let's look at 18. 18 says the bar graph below shows the number of students by major in the College of Arts and Sciences. Which major has about 200 students? Okay, so we're looking for the word math, history, English, science, other. And this 200, that's the number of students. So that's the up and down. So we need to look for 200 on the students. So let's go find it. 200 is right here. Okay. And which major is 200 high? It's either this one of math or maybe this one of other. Yeah, but it's definitely not history, English, because those are above 200, and it's definitely not science because it's below 200. So it's either math or other, and they have math. Woohoo! Okay, let's look at number 19. Identify the numerator and the denominator. We know that. The top is the numerator. The bottom is the denominator. C. Okay, number 20. It says write fractions to represent the shaded and unshaded portions of the figure. Okay, so we're going to put how many are shaded over how we are divided. Okay, so let's count how many squares we have shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over how we're divided. Okay, what are these squares divided into? They're divided into 4 pieces. What about this square? Is it divided into 4 pieces also? Yes. So we have 7 shaded boxes over, they're divided into 4 equal parts. Okay, so that should be the shaded area. And D. Yes. The part that you're gonna probably get wrong on the test is that bottom. It's how we are divided. So not how many total divisions there are, 8. It's just how one box is divided. So if you just cover up one of the pictures and look at the other picture, how is this one picture divided into 4 spots? Okay, let's look at 21. 21 proper means you have smaller over a bigger number. So let's see here. It says list the proper fractions. Well, the small number has to be on top. So now 9 over 7. Yeah, that's it. So just A. Woohoo! Let's look at 22. It says list the improper fractions. So that means either we have the bigger over the smaller, or the part we always forget about is the same number over the same number. So let's look for the bigger number over the smaller. Bigger over the smaller? Yes. Nope. Nope. Yes. And then 10 over 10 is one of these same over the same. So we only have 3 of them. C. Okay, number 23. Find the prime factorization. This is where we start breaking it. Okay, so what divides into 2800? Well, I know 2 does. To get 1400. Then you can divide 1400 by 2 to get 700. Then we can keep dividing by 2 until we get to 175 and 2. Okay, then we keep breaking. What multiplies to 175? Well, it has a 5 in it, so you have to be able to divide by 5. So 35 and 5. And then break up that 35. 35 is 7 and 5. Okay, now I'm going to cross out what has been broken. So if it has a little branch coming off of it, I'm crossing it out. Goodbye 2800. Goodbye 1400, 700, 350, 175, 35. Okay, now it doesn't matter if you did it this way or if you started out with maybe 407. If you would have started out this way, you would have still had these black numbers that are not highlighted. They would just be maybe over here, maybe here, here, here. You know, they just be all in different spots. Okay, so prime factorization means we need to list our smallest number first. And there's 2 of them. I mean, the smallest number is 2, and there are 4 of them. So you're going to say 2 to the 4. Then the next to highest number is the number 5, and there are 2 of them. So you're going to say the big fat 5 to the 2 of them. Then we only have a 7, so multiply dot 7. Okay, so that should be D. Yes. Okay, let's look at 24. 24 says determine whether they're equivalent. Equivalent means you can multiply evenly. Like, for example, on number 25, to get from 5 to 50, you had to multiply by 10. Well, if I can multiply by 10 on the bottom to get from 6 to 60, then they are equivalent. And heck fire, 6 times 10 is totally 60. So this is equivalent, A. But let's check number 24. Is there anything that I can multiply 5 by to get 23? Nah, because remember, multiples of 5 are like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I did not say 23. So I cannot multiply by like a whole number to get this 23. And I probably can't do it for the 26 either, because 8 times nothing gives you 26. So this is not equivalent. So you have to be able to get from one side of the fraction to the other fraction by multiplying the same number.